I have been meaning to make this video for a couple of days because Cinco de Mayo was a couple of days ago, and I just have been so busy with getting my seedlings transferred into the Kaki system and getting the seeds that germinated transferred into little seedling cups and stuff like that. And just like there's so much work to be done in the beginning of spring with my garden that I just like did not have the time. And yeah, so I just decided that I need to like get this done. It's like one of the easiest recipes that I've made since I was a teenager. Um, I learned how to do it in a foster home that I was in. And the way that I learned to do it is a little bit different. So this is a modified recipe. What I'm doing is enchilada pie. And normally what I would do is kind of like a wet burrito style enchilada. Um, so I'm just gonna like start. I can get this camera going too so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. So yeah, this is really easy. You just chop up some peppers, some onions, and some garlic, and fry those up a little bit. So do that part real quick. My foster mother, father, foster mother, father, Jackal started out as my foster mother, and then transitioned and became a man. And uh, I have to say, like, even as somebody who's like always been a supporter of the LGBT community, I still like mess up like just a minute ago when I said foster mother instead of foster father. Um, because I think I talked about it in a previous video, but it was like Jackal was like one of the coolest chicks that I ever met. Reminded me of like Tank Girl. And so when Jackal became a man, it was like the ultimate betrayal. Like, I was really upset and I felt like somebody died. And like I accepted that Jackal was trans. I wasn't upset about that. It was just like all of a sudden this woman who was like a very like strong feminist type decided to be a man, and so it felt like this man had like murdered her, kind of like I lost her and someone else replaced her. And I think that's probably something that like a lot of families go through um when somebody transitions, that like it's a little bit taboo to talk about it. um but hopefully like the fact that I'm still an advocate and still accepting means that I'm able to talk about these things without people thinking that I'm like, being a bigot or whatever. It's just, I get to have my feels too. And if woke people don't agree with that, well, then that's too bad because I'm gonna have my feels anyways. Um, Anyway, so Jocko was like always making this recipe, because it's a good thing that you can make for like a large group of people that's like really quick and easy. And I couldn't like get a hold of Jocko when I wanted to make it one time. So I like called up my foster sister, and she was like, gosh, I don't know. But had me talk to her boyfriend who was Mexican, and he's like, oh, so you just assume that because I'm Mexican that I know how to make enchiladas. And it was just funny how like he was like kind of offended that I called him to give like a Mexican recipe. And one of my coworkers who actually was Mexican in the army, he called it KadeshMex enchiladas. Because I mean, it's a, you know, he said that they were good. And I actually gave him like I'm not making the beef version today, but I gave him like the vegan beef version to try, and he said that like he couldn't even tell that it was fake beef. Um, so actually really delicious. Get through this onion without crying. My eyes are starting to water. If you see this like mark on my arm, it's because I slammed into the counter when I was like walking over here trying to get my camera set up. I didn't think about that. Let's go get some peppers from my pepper plant to put in here. That'll be kind of fun. So I'm just gonna pluck a couple of these off of here. These little cherry peppers. I should have gotten scissors for this. Come on, you guys. Boop. Get this one too. Looks like that one's ready. And this one's ready over here. Boop. All right. I had one of these cherry peppers a couple days ago, and I thought like, oh, they're probably not that hot, and so I just kind of like ripped it open with my fingers, and my fingers were burning for like 2 days. So let's not do that again here. What's been going on in the world? I'm trying to think of stuff to talk about in a video. I mean, I could probably just like fast forward through these parts, but um, tariffs, y'all. Let's talk about tariffs. I've been seeing a lot of news about the tariffs, and I'm kind of torn on it because, I mean, as somebody who's like very poor and who has always been very poor, um, obviously I've taken advantage of like everything being like the cheap stuff that you can order from China, Wish.com and stuff like that. I haven't really ordered from Temu or the other ones. I got like there's like this you'll be able to see it. Yeah, that on the wall, the little gemstone mounted thing. Um I got one of those for my sister's kid because I'm trying to get her into like geology and stuff. Um, and so I got one for myself too because they were pretty cheap, and it's just kind of like a cool display. But otherwise, I haven't really ordered anything off of there. Usually I do Amazon because it's cheap enough, and I already pay for the Prime shipping, so I might as well take advantage of that. Um, anyway, I'm torn on the tariffs because I feel like we all know that that all of that cheap stuff is the product of slave labor. Um, and it's kind of difficult for me to see like a lot of all the people like complaining about the prices going up and stuff due to the tariffs because like my whole life I have been treated like shit, like gone through some serious like abusive hate crime situations over the fact that my ancestors might have been slave owners because I'm a white person. And so I'm kind of like, you guys, the hypocrisy of knowing, we all know that, when you're getting a ridiculous too good to be true price on something, that it's because the person who created that product isn't making the money that they should be making. And we all know about the slave labor situation in China, and um Like, I don't know if the tariffs mean that the Chinese people will start doing better as far as that goes. Um, but I feel like as Americans, if we want to have like a good standard of living over here, then we need to like not be fucking hypocrites about that kind of stuff. Um, because what goes around comes around, and it will end up like catching up to us, and it will end up catching up to us. It's not a matter of like karma and all that kind of stuff. It's economics. Like if you're not buying American goods, that means that American people aren't making the money that they need to make, and then, we've got all these foreigners that are buying up the housing and stuff in America, and people already can't afford housing. And so then people are, like people are making less money because American products aren't being bought. And then also, like, we're all dealing with this situation where like intellectual property theft is rampant. And so if you start a business and you come up with like a new product to sell, then it's very highly likely that, someone from China or another country that's willing to use slave labor to create their products is going to sell to steal your idea and sell the product for way cheaper than you do. And so, we're really like putting ourselves in a bad situation by being dependent on slave labor here in America. And people try to act like slavery was abolished because we're not doing it here anymore. Well, I mean, we kind of are. Like, and that's another thing with the like deportation and stuff is that like they try to say like, oh, well, enjoy the fact that prices are going to be higher because you're deporting all the people that are willing to work for cheap. And it's like I'm having a really hard time because I am someone who has always been a liberal myself. And I just see like so much hypocrisy. Like everybody's like willing to do like the most heinous evil shit just to be like anti-Trump. Um, and honestly, like I felt hopeful when Trump got elected because of the climate of racism and the abuse that I've been put through. Um, with like Sussex Squad and stuff like that. I felt hopeful that he would do something about that, but he kind of hasn't really. I mean, Prince Harry is still like out cocky, like, throwing it in our face that he's getting away with doing whatever the hell he feels like. And I mean, maybe there's an investigation going on into that, maybe not. Like we're not getting any kind of like information on that. Um, and I got kicked off of X for talking about it. Sussex Squad is like basically embedding themselves in all of the social media companies as moderators. And so if you have anything to say about Prince Harry's agenda to censor everybody in this country or how he's pushing veterans to suicide for profit, then they're just like, will silence you. Um, like nobody watches my videos on this channel, but if Sussex Squad finds these videos, then I'm sure they'll get this channel taken down. They got previously, because for years I had been putting my urban homestead to Compton hashtag on all of my like gardening videos and posts and like cooking videos and stuff like that I posted on Facebook. Um and they had the hashtag blocked and said that it was racist for me to compare Tacoma to Compton, which is like everybody in Tacoma calls Tacoma to Compton. So that's just like okay. Like, whatever. And I don't really think that I've never thought that like the problems in Tacoma have to do with race, other than I think that like hip hop, like rap, hip hop, that kind of music scene uh is a big influence on the youth, and that it's the reason that they go out and like shoot each other and stuff like they do. But the violence, like these kids that are like getting involved in gang activities, they're kids of every race, and like other than like the teen gang violence and stuff, most of the issues around Tacoma are from tweakers. And most of the tweakers are like white people that are like my dad's generation. So my my neighbor across the way, I don't know if I talked about this in a previous video, but like he's a black guy, and before he moved into the neighborhood, the guy that lived in this house that I live in right now, he was like a tweaker biker gang dude. And he was always like getting into fights, and there was just always like yelling and drama and stuff. And it was a situation where like anytime that the tweaker guy knew that the police were gonna show up because of him getting into a fight or something, he would call up his black friend, and it was like he was using the guy as a human shield, basically. So that like maybe the police will shoot him instead of me or something. Um, so the neighborhood finally like banded together and got got rid of that guy. Um, and then his friend that he would always call up um to like be his human shield ended up moving into the neighborhood, and he's cool. Like I don't know, I think he's somebody that like um kind of like anybody in the neighborhood, like if something was going down, he would like, defend the neighborhood kind of thing. So we try to have that kind of vibe here in this neighborhood where we all look out for each other now after the shit that we went through with the tweakers. Everybody's all chill now. But there's still a lot of drama like surrounding our little neighborhood. Um, it hasn't been as bad lately. I saw something in the news about how they were gonna start using like shot spotter technology, and I don't know if they actually implemented that or not, but if they did, it seems like it's like kind of been working because like there's still like gunshots sometimes, and there's like always sirens and stuff, but you don't hear um like all the drive-bys and stuff as often as it was a few years ago. No, maybe it's just gentrification. Maybe everything's just like getting so expensive. But Tacoma's kind of like the last stop though. Like if you get like chased out of everywhere else by the prices, then Tacoma's the place that you end up. And if you can't afford to live here, then your next destination is a grave. So crazy prices of everything. I really lucked out with this place. However, um, since I posted the rap video, I did actually contact the landlord, and I told him like because I mean it's a job that I could do for like pulling out the dishwasher and the water heater to board up the wall behind it, but I don't want to like buck up and like break the water heater or something and end up having to pay to replace that. So I would prefer that the landlord have somebody do that. And it's been like 2.5 months of trying to get that done. Um, the guy that he like had working on it keeps saying that he's like forgetting. And now like his dad has health problems and stuff. So there's like basically I used one of these cutting boards to cover the spot where the rat was getting in. And fortunately rats like if they can't like see the light through a hole and see that there's like something past it, then they usually like won't try to get in. So I don't think that it's been back in here, but it's still like it would be easy for it to get through the plastic if it decided that it wanted to. But it is poverty. So quickly frying these up. Oh man, now that the veggies are chopped, I'm like, I'm almost done. I've been putting this off for a couple of days because like I couldn't get around to like dealing with the veggies and everything. Hands open. So for this, I usually use like a can of corn because I like the extra little bit of sweetness and just like a couple of kinds of beans. This time I'm using black beans, white kidney beans, and refried beans. Sometimes I'll use like red beans. And you don't like have to use refried beans, but I like to use them because they kind of like hold everything together. So it's a recipe that is very easy to modify. If you want to do something a little different. The thing that really sucks here is that I don't have any recycling pickup. Like when I was stationed in Germany, we recycled, and I lived in Seattle. There was recycling, mandatory recycling, in the apartment building that I lived in. But because Washington State, um, unlike other states, has not made it law yet that you have to do recycling in like multifamily complexes. So yeah, that there's like 8 units here, and that's like 8 households that aren't recycling. But I guess like the recycling doesn't get recycled anyways. So bitch and moan and complain. I'm like I'm mad about that. Why is that still a problem? Uh, I wish that that's another thing that Amazon would take over because, like, they started like the medical program and the Amazon Prime shipping and stuff like that. Like, they should do a recycling service also, which would be good for like recycling their own packaging and stuff like that too. Um, Washington State kind of like it puts on this like act like it's a green state, but it's really not. It's a very business oriented, like trying to attract manufacturing and stuff like that. And we just have trees and it's because we get a lot of rain. That's the only reason that Washington can pretend to be a green state. It's how I feel about it anyway. So what else is going on in the world? On the news, just a few weeks before Pride Month, that Trump is getting transgender people banned from the military. Um, I kind of feel like anyone who pays taxes should have a say in this country and the military. Um, and I'm somebody who volunteers at Pride every year. I've been an LGBT advocate my whole life. I have an uncle. He's not my uncle. He's my mom's cousin, who died of AIDS. Um, we always called him uncle, but he's not. He was a cousin. Um, and so like he was always at like Christmas and stuff like that. With the whole family, the grandparents and all the aunts and uncles and stuff from the previous generation. And my family's just never been like a bigoted family. Um, however, I'm gonna say however, um, I do kind of feel like there's some issues as far as like I don't know. I mean, I guess civilians are dealing with this also, but like as far as like the locker room, um and like the female soldiers, um I don't, I mean, I feel like in the military, if you have to like declare yourself to the military as like transgender, that you probably take it pretty seriously, like it's not something that you're just gonna like, you know, change all willy-nilly whenever you feel like it kind of thing. But I can see how like they kind of like rushed into it as far as like not preparing the facilities to accommodate um the fact that like yeah, some people just aren't like ready for that. Um And though it would be cool if we could get to the point, like I had a dream once where my unit was all like, like Starship Trooper style, where like the locker room is shared with everybody, and it like wasn't a big deal or whatever. I mean, if we got to the point where humans were actually like mature enough to pull that off, that would be cool. Like that's a great fantasy. But I don't know if it's necessarily I don't know, I just feel like in respecting the feelings of transgender people and the LGBT community, we have to remember that like everybody has feelings, and that everybody's feelings matter, and that we need to have discussions about these things, and make sure that everybody's comfortable, you know. So um I haven't been in the military for over a decade, so I thought that like, since the ban was lifted for so long, that they had just like gotten all that stuff figured out, that everything was fine. So I don't really know what's going on, like why they would take that step in reverse. Um, that as an advocate, that I kind of I felt offended as like a veteran who needed help with my physical injuries that I wasn't getting from the VA, that there was like some selfishness with people wanting surgeries that I would deem cosmetic. Um, as far as like wanting to change their appearance to feel more comfortable with their gender and stuff like that. Um, if we lived in a world of like complete abundance, like hell yeah, go for it, pay for it. Like everybody live your best life. But just again, that's like it's more fantasy than reality. Um, I think that America can really like afford that kind of stuff right now when we have so many people that are struggling. Like we're in a situation still in 2025 where people are debating whether or not like kids should be fed at school. So it's a mess. But anyway, I'm volunteering again at Pride this year and I'm super stoked for it. So um I'm still an advocate and I want to tell you guys what I'm doing for my theme this year, but I guess I'll wait and I'll like post pictures or something later. Okay, so the next step in this is the pan and get this ready to start baking. Just like it's like 350. That's good enough. Normally I get like a huge can of green sauce. This is just like what I have right now because I wanted to try it. I don't know if this is actually gonna be like enough. But what you do. So when you're doing like the wet burrito method, it's really super messy and it's actually really fun to do. But you dump the enchilada sauce on like a plate and coat both sides of the tortilla, just like a regular flour tortilla, and then put the filling inside of it and wrap it up and bake it like that. But this is like the lazy way of doing it. Oh yeah, this enchilada sauce sucks. It's really watery. This is not a good one. And it smells like a lemon. It's one of those things that I ordered from Imperfect Foods, I think, or Thrive Market or something that yeah, I don't know. Sometimes some of the stuff that they have is a little bit weird. That's a weird smelling one. Hopefully it'll still work out. So if you can see here, what I do is like just layer this in the bottom of the pan. I like to kind of like try to get up on the side a little bit there, a little bit, and then add a layer of the filling on top. And I'm going to make the layers kind of thin so you can do a couple of layers. Oh, that's moving around on me. Definitely isn't like a gourmet meal or anything. This is more like a feed your family in 30 minutes or whatever kind of recipe. Um, that I make very often. It's easy. So, the next layer of the tortilla. When you do this like enchilada pie version, you definitely want to use it's when you do the wet burrito version, it's good with regular flour tortillas. But if you're doing it like this, I would definitely recommend to use the corn tortillas because it just like adds to the flavor. Oh. And if you have any filling left over, you could just do like one burrito with it. Try to get 3 layers in here, but I don't want it to like spill over or anything. I'll just top it off with another layer of tortillas. Oh, well, let's see. I'll do another one. It looks finished and pretty. Yay! And there. So then you just dump the rest of the green sauce on top. And all the top. You want to make sure that you get all of the tortilla wet so that it doesn't like dry out or burn or anything in the oven. And then just pop that in the oven for 20 minutes. Well, like 15 minutes. And then you want to put a layer of cheese on it. So it's been 15 minutes. Take this out and try to burn off my eyelashes. Then let's put a bunch of cheese on the top. Mm, hopefully it melts. This vegan cheese is like notorious for not melting very well. And I've used this one before, so I think it'll be fine. Which sometimes when you're done, there's like little pieces still sticking out that are like burnt and stuff because I didn't melt. Vegan food has come a very long way in a short period of time, so I feel like it won't be long before we get really good cheeses and stuff. We're still not quite there yet. Um, and I actually do have and vegan beef. I have like the spicy taco beef and the plain one from Impossible Foods, but I forgot to take it out of the freezer for this. And also it would be kind of a waste of money to use it for this because this is already like really good without it. And then I can use the beef for like tacos or hamburgers or something another time. So just decided not to use it this time. But if I was like cooking for somebody else and I was trying to impress them, then I'd put it in there because it does kind of add to like the texture and the flavor a little bit to have that like the chunks of beef in there. All right, so then we just let that go for another like 5 minutes. So guys, as I expected, we're having a cheese melting issue. Um, it, see that on there? The cheese is like it's soft right now, and it's kind of starting to crust and bubble up around the edges, but it's not melting, and it's been in there for like a good another like 10-15 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it out now because if I leave it like this, it will probably just get like hard and burn. And I prefer that it's soft. So that's what it is. And I'm super hungry, but now I'm still like waiting for it to cool down. All right, so time to serve this up. Um, chop on in there and get you a slice. Get you a slice. So hot. Yeah, it'll be a little bit warm. If you have patience and let it actually set up, then the sides will be more firm, but we'll kind of got this slice out of there. All right. And then what's on avocado on there? Oh yeah, perfect one. Might have put half an avocado if I was not like making a YouTube video because you know I don't need all that, but big hat, it's a good excuse. All right. And you guys, I wonder how much microplastic I've eaten because of this knife. Ew. Look at that. Oh, it's so bad. Already. I really need to replace these. So, slices on there. And, uh, mm. This is just like some radishes and onion that I soaked in apple cider vinegar. So I forgot for a second. A little bit of a salsa. And, here. And sour cream. Normally I would get like the Forager brand cashew yogurt and just like chop up some onion, some like chives or something, um, and put it in that because it's like a larger container and it's cheaper. But I couldn't find any of that, so I just got regular sour cream. Blech. Ugh, no, it's just making a mess and falling everywhere. This is like a good if you're having like a potluck kind of gathering meal to make because it's really easy to whip up and just bring like a big pan of it or something. Um, this with like some cornbread. That's what I usually do. I probably shouldn't tell you guys because now you're all gonna know when I show up with my cornbread. Yeah, the cornbread was actually like really popular when I've made that. It's one of those things where like everybody kind of wants like a little roll or some kind of bread on the side or something, and when you have like a large gathering that like runs out really fast. So if everybody brings some, then we have plenty for everyone. Anyway, I already know this is gonna be good, but I'll do the oh, I believe I forgot. It's a hot sauce. I really like Cholula. There's a couple of good like when I was in the army, they had like the red rooster sauce. That one's really good. Of course, I really love Tapatio. Uh, I discovered Cholula a couple years ago. I'm kind of like obsessed with that one now. There's like different, there's different sauces for different things though. So, all right. Um, I don't really know much about Cinco de Mayo. And this was supposed to be a Cinco de Mayo video, so happy Cinco de Mayo to people who celebrate that, belated. Um, and like, damn it, y'all got some good food. So this is KadeshMex, like Mexican inspired recipe that I mean you might be able to find a restaurant somewhere that serves it, but probably most Mexican people would be some American shit. So yeah, that's why it's Kadesh bags. Oh yeah. Oh, every time. Every motherfucking time. Mm, mm. Yeah. Like crowd pleaser, feed your family, quick, easy meal. And it's good as like leftovers too. Like you can eat it cold the next day or heat it up again. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. Okay. So I'm gonna turn off the camera so I can go sit down and pig out. Mm. Success. That was enchilada pie.